Hi, is it from Zedster's lab? I learned something fantastic. I mean, I just have to share it with you. So this morning I was in bed, woke up kind of early, starting to read. Afterwards I found this video of a woman doing some Gelli Plate things. But what I saw there blew my mind, because that is what I actually was thinking about. I saw lots of things, lots of videos of how people line up their Gelli Plates. And some of them have marks on paper, and some of them use sticky tape. When last have you heard that word? My mother spoke of sticky tape, tape that sticks. So you can put that onto your paper. Let's say this is your thing that you're going to print. You put it there, you put a masking tape there, and you can just keep it in place. That was fantastic. Haven't done that yet. And then this morning I saw something on this woman's video, and she calls it a placement tool, a mini placement tool. And it blew my mind, and immediately my mind started to race, thinking, how can I create one myself? You know, because really, when I Googled the thing, I think it was about $22. So that is about 400-500 rand. I am not going to pay that for a little tool. So I was thinking, asking hubby, and the next minute he came with this. This is an old piece of a frame that he found in his garage. Because what the woman had, she had a Gelli Plate that was loose. It wasn't on something. And then she had a piece of, let's see, she had something like this. Now I cannot remember exactly how hers worked. But it was something like this. Let's say like this. Then it was cut out so that it fitted right there where the Gelli Plate was. But here's my thing. You can Google it, mini placement tools for a Gelli Plate. But listen to this. So what I am doing, so you know that I place my Gelli Plate onto this thing. This is a piece of Perspex. But you can use anything. Just make sure it's kind of squarish. So now I decide, this is my Gelli Plate. How big do I want my sides? So let's say a kind of 3 centimeters by 3 centimeters, or whatever you want it. It can be anything. It can be a little bit like this. Just make sure that side is the same as this side, if that is what you want. Then I am taking this thing. So this is, as I said, this is just a piece of an old frame. Look there, it even have these things. So this goes just there, over that little side, you know. It just fits perfectly around this thing. As you can see, let's say this is the plate. It just perfectly goes in there. Doesn't move. So what more do I want? So let's try this. So I am just going to take, you see, my problem is, not a problem, my challenge. I don't use the word problems anymore. That's a very negative thing. challenge, you know, makes you think immediately, how can I solve this? It's exciting vibe that you get, let's call it that. So I have this piece of paper, and the awesome thing with this is I can use anything, really, absolutely any paper, because I can use my small Gelli Plate, just put that here and still have the sides perfectly. So what I do is I now, let's do it. Let's do some anything. Just put on some random paint. Use my little roller. So you see my plate is now exactly where I want it. Oh! When I made my Gelli Plate, I did it in this thing, and it has a little hole there. Not a hole, this is actually sticking out, so a little bit bob thing. So now there's a hole in my Gelli Plate, so all my things are gonna have a little hole in. Oh well, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna use my paper, but first let's just do a background. What is this gonna be? I have no idea, but let's put on some bubble wrap here and there, some of this, remember this thing. I'm just gonna randomly create things with that. I love this, so let's just make some marks. I actually saw this paper. It makes beautiful flower marks. Right, there you can see. So let's do it. How am I gonna put this there? So what I do is I just look to see there. It's in its perfect spot there, lining up in that little corner. No, my thing cannot get there. In that little corner, it's lining up, and I'm just working it. You see, now I can use any paper, any size paper. I can use any Gelli Plate, and they will all line up perfectly. So onto that, I'm just gonna make some blue, some yellow. Not even cleaning this, I'm just playing, practicing on my new thing. I'm not gonna work it in, I don't want to. I am gonna randomly make my tree. Some things here. Let's make some. Don't do it hard, because then you're gonna mess up your Gelli Plate. I remember yesterday when I used the seashells and the stuff on my seascapes, I forgot it was kind of sharp. So my Gelli Plate took a little bit of a hammering. So there you can see, I am just creating some, cleaning it in my book. Now I'm gonna add some flowers. Just tip, randomly my flowers. I'm not thinking. let's see how this goes. So now I want to line it up again. So once again, I just look. You see, it's not gonna be perfect, but I don't care. I just want it kind of in the right spot. And I'm just looking to see if my plan is working. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I didn't think. This is just an old paper that you can find in any old book. I bought this large book for next to nothing, $1. Large, nice, large. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So now I can do whatever I want. Oh, this is abstract. This is absolutely, I love it. So now I can do anything on this. Let's go a little bit further. Add some more. I want to, whoopsie. This time just add some more with my finger. I love the layer upon layer effect. There's now a sun coming out there. I am cleaning my hands in my book. I'm gonna go for a little bit of brown and just add it here on this very, oh, this is actually gold. Just add it here on my black, just to make it a little bit less black. Work on my tree again. A little bit of gold in the flowers. And once again, I'm going over. So, line it up. And the thing is, it's not that I don't have the money to buy it, but really I don't want to spend that much money on a thing that I can create myself. What is the joy of that? So the more money I don't spend, the more I have to later do things with. So there you have it. So you can keep going and keep going on your little scene until you're satisfied. Some of these things that I did yesterday, I'm gonna use for something else. This is one. So I'm just gonna, so with this one, I cannot use that thing because it is just big enough for my plate. So, you know, it's all about perspective. It's all about let's get things into perspective. So that is my, you see, oh man, this is more of a thing. This was now yesterday's backdrop, and here I come with another layer, and it is becoming something else. So you just add more and more. What I also love when my things are becoming really sticky, I love to just add some water and see what's going to happen there. So I'm going with this one again. Oopsie. Oopsie doopsie. Be like a child. Don't overthink. Just go for it. So, did I mess it up or not? Who knows? It's just another layer. I'm not going with that to a gallery. I just want to play and find some other paper to pull that off. Just pulling it off. You can use it in any art form. You can even use it as wrapping paper. You can use it in a collage. Do whatever blows your hair back. I'm just playing. And so there you have my tool. Something I can use very, very easily to line up my paintings onto my Gelli Plate. I'm just cleaning my Gelli Plate before it gets dry. But what I want to share is yesterday I was looking through my things that I did yesterday, and nothing really spoke to me except this little one. I actually kind of like that little one. And then I was looking at this and I saw, this, I don't know what this is, and I was looking and I thought, let me turn it around. And all of a sudden, I see something else here. Now I see the sea and the waves. I see a little bit of the sand and rocks and stuff there. All of a sudden, another perspective like that. It actually looks like a pond as well. Just by turning it around, I got another perspective. And that made me think of something that I read. They said, look at the world population, and it's billions. So let's break it down to 100 people. So they were talking about lots of things. But the bottom line was, if you have, I wrote it down, if you have own your own home, if you are able to eat full meals a day, if you have clean water to drink, if you can surf on the internet, if you have a mobile phone, just some of these things, if you have gone to college, then you are 7% in the 7% people in the world. That is how rich we are. We look at richness, abundance, and we look at money. But look at those things. We have food to eat. We have a car to drive. Even if ours are old, we've got cars to drive. We have the ability to play and buy inks and paints and surf the internet and drink coffee and a glass of wine, That is abundance. We are abundantly blessed. So we can look at our lives focusing on what we don't have, or we can just turn our perspective around and see our blessings, what we do have. They also said in that article, if you are above 65, only 7 out of 100 people get older or as old as 65. So once again, we are, I'm nearly there. So look how blessed I am. Now we look at ourselves and, we're getting old and our body is starting to ache and pain. Instead of saying, my goodness, 93% are already people died already, moved on, out of these bodies, out of this realm. I'm still here. How blessed am I? You see the perspective? So every time when depression wants to get hold of me and I start to feel fear rising up in me and worry about tomorrow and whatever, I change my perspective from what I don't have or fear of the future. They also say 99% of the things you fear might happen in the future never actually happen. And awesome, the good news that I found out is whenever I get in the future, it's only now as well. And now all my needs are met. I have what I need now to play, make my video, whatever I need, I have now. All I have to do is not fear tomorrow and the future. Just focus and be in the present of this moment, because this is where I can find life. Life can only be found in me and around me now, in this moment. Abundant life, everlasting life is in me, in you, it's flowing. That is where I can find life. That is where I can be alive, is in this moment. And as soon as you start to lose perfect perception, get back to, wow, what I have to be thankful for. I'm in the 7% richest people in the world. Just because I have a little bit of money in the bank or even extra money in my purse makes me rich in material things, never mind the other things. But what we do is we keep focusing on what we don't have. And the more energy we give that and focus, the more that grows larger where in our minds. So let's change our perspective and just start to be thankful for the abundance that we do have. As I said, all of us can surf the internet. All of us can do a little bit of art. Create. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been on this channel if you couldn't afford some painting materials. So now all our needs are met and we are abundantly blessed. Just because we are in the 7% people that's still alive at our age. I mean, it's wonderful. Ah, is it from Zester Labs? Love you lots. So change your perspective. You don't have to buy lots of stuff. You can make your own. Get what works for you. This made me excited. This little thing that I saw there, the mini placement tool, because I thought, you know, that's easy enough for me to handle. I will be able to line up my things that will be good enough for me, for what I am doing. And as I said, voila, once again, use what you have. This was in the garage, to create what you love. That's what I do. Use what you have. And before I go, this was also one that I made yesterday. And, you know, I thought, let me use my, I don't know, Sharpies they call it. We call it Kokies. The Kokie pen. Kokies. So I bought myself this at a very, very cheap shop. I think this was $3 for all of this. I cannot tell you when last I've worked with a Sharpie, a Kokie pen. It's got one look like that on one side, and it's a little bit sharper on the other side. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy it and try and use it. So I took one of my old ones I did yesterday, and I just took a Sharpie. And I created those two people. And I made the one line there, and all of a sudden I saw these two women looking out, resting their arms on the balustrade, whatever it is, and they are just looking at the sea, enjoying the sunset. And this was just me playing. I was actually taking the Sharpie at the back here. Yeah, I didn't drew like this. I just took it there and I just started to do this. And all of a sudden, these two people emerged, and they're so beautiful. And I put on large hats, and voila, there I have something that speaks to me. They are just there, standing, just enjoying the moment. Is it from Zetster's Lab? Love you lots.